Hey guys, it's Matt. This video is about this t-shirt that was sent to me. I've worn it before while making a video, but I can't wear it today because it's freezing in here. The transformer blew up in the middle of the night in Western Baghdad here. It's jump for joy if you're not compatible with society or where it's going. I think it says the spiritual world we live in is far brighter than the material world we exist in. Again, I've worn this before making a video. I want to touch on that theme again, but also add a few additional things we might not have talked about. The sweatshirt, the Everlast sweatshirt is back. It is very cold in here. We do have electricity again in the transformer. We have these remnants of Hurricane Ian that I don't know. It's not violent weather, but it just never leaves. It just stalled, off the coast of New Jersey or something. And usually, I mean, it doesn't have to be violent. Up here with the trees and the limbs, in the middle of the night, more towards the morning, boom! Um, a, the transformer, whatever, down the way, and that's usually what happens. You can hear it, and then everything, and we say, what do we say now? You don't say anymore, I lost my power. We say, I lost my electricity. But it was restored rather quickly. But I might shut, if I go long on a segment, guys, I'm going to shut it down because if it goes down again, or sometimes they'll put us on a different and then they'll switch us back to the main line and then take the electricity down again. If it happens while it's recording, I'll lose everything. So um, I'm gonna probably stop and do this in segments. So jump for joy if you're not compatible with society or where it's going. And it is really horrific. It's on the base level what is happening and what it's very depressing to many of us. Where they've taken the world, where they've taken the ship of fools, what it's devolved into. But ultimately, and I'm going to say I'm not just saying this to make myself feel better or to make you feel better. Why do we get depressed? Where we see society, where it's going, how is it's accepted by our friends and family. My family says, "Oh, you can't come down to the reunion. You have a little bad taste in your mouth. You need to get tested." And I just don't participate in where society has evolved into. And I'm not getting tested to come down and be with my family. And I'm not participating in where society is evolving into, where my entire family and your family as well, they accept everything. They're on the ship of fools, and it's not that they begrudgingly, I guess if that's a word, they don't go along with it in that sense. They believe in every bit of it. They're true believers in it. Like what did one of the privates said to Sergeant Eversman in Black Hawk Down said, Sergeant Eversman is here. He's a believer. He truly believes in our mission here in Mogadishu, calling Irene, and that's the people around us. They are true believers in what Dr. F says, where you and I and people like us, we won't even do the minimum to participate with it. I won't go get tested. I thought I could pass this off on my uncle. It's like I don't want to go out to those testing centers, and I had heard, at that, of course, at that point they have, like, you can go get them at CVS, or you can probably get them at the damn 7-Eleven. Matt, it's not a big hardship for you to go get tested. They have um, home kits, and then I was like, oh boy, what am I gonna? Anyway, I said, and then I just said, well, just be straightforward, Matt. I'm not doing it. And he didn't want to hear all my reasons for not doing it. I'm sure he was very upset. But anyway, so that's just one example of thousands where, it seems like we're depressed and, we're losing our relationships. But ultimately, it's good news. It's extremely good news. I'm not just saying this to make myself or you feel better. Who would want to, why do you get depressed as to where society's going? Well, it's human nature, or the nature of us being in this body or avatar. We want to be included. We want to be loved by people and admired and respected. That's just normal, quote, human emotion. And as we become detached and lose our friends and or lose our jobs or whatever it may be, it is depressing. But at the final train stop, Zara, come on, all wrapped up in my cord. The final train stop is this is extremely good news because who would want to be compatible completely wrapped up in the cord? Who would want to be compatible? Up here's R. Who would want to be compatible with this? And it's not just from the sense of us living this material life out. It's spiritual. The not compatible with it is just more incredible evidence to me that we are spiritual beings beyond this place. So if you're not compatible with it and you're losing friends and you'd have nothing in common with your best friend anymore or your sister, it's basically the best news of all time. It really is. It really is. Because no matter what your beliefs are, your religious beliefs, whether they include recycling back or reincarnation or whatever they may be, I mean, you have to leave that this possibility is on the table. Of course, it's not consistent with Christian beliefs, recycling or reincarnating back, but it is consistent. It is consistent with the beliefs of going back through time. From what I understand, it's consistent with the beliefs of 90 to 95% of anybody that has ever walked on this earth, that there is a return or a reincarnation of some kind. Well, if there is a reincarnation of some kind, does that cycle go on forever? What was it? Was it Nietzsche's eternal return? That dumbass Nietzsche. I don't trust a dumbass that can't even get his mustache trimmed up to a decent degree. That it's like a giant. It's like living with a giant rat over the top of your lip. I don't care how smart he was in other areas. Nietzsche's eternal return, where we just do it over and over and over again. I mean, it's without knowing anything about anything. It's almost common sense. If there is a return, there would be a reason for the return, and as the universe or existence was designed in the first place. And it wouldn't. Why would it go on forever? Who designed that dumbass system? There'd be a way to get out of it. I mean, is it just me or is this obvious? There would be a way to get out of it. So, what's a better sign of getting out of it or moving beyond or moving past it than just not resonating with anything here, not being compatible with anything here? And I'm not just talking about relationships between you and your cousins. I'm talking about time itself, the frequency. What Tesla said. The Tesla story is a fairy tale to me. We'll talk about that a little bit, but doesn't mean there's not huge truth that comes out of it. Everything is frequency, resonance, and vibration, or he said something like that. So if we aren't on the frequency, we're not on the resonance, we're not on the vibration. Even time itself doesn't make sense to us, and even time itself. The transformer explodes in the middle of the night. You got cats running around the dark. It's stressful. I'm a little bit off. So um, if the frequency, vibration, and resonance of this reality would express itself in all ways, including time. So if time doesn't make any sense to you, or you're kind of like almost moving beyond it, and I'll explain what I mean by that in a second, then I mean everything for us is speeding up. Where I don't know, the people in the ship of fools, as usual, everything's normal. Everything is as it should be. I believe we live in one gigantic Mandela effect. There's a lot of changes to reality itself, and the people in the ship of fools, our friends and family, reset to it. Their vibration then jumps over to the vibration of the current realities. Was that what the Schumann resonance is? I don't know anything about the Schumann resonance, but I know it's when people get all bent out of shape and start making videos when it changes. And is that related to the frequency and vibration of this entire place in the ship of fools? Um, I believe, yeah, it probably is all tied in. But they shift over to it and get back on the radio station and get back on the frequency, and we stay somewhere else. We might not shift, we might just stay in one place. But then it becomes more and more foreign, all of society and how everybody's acting. This is, getting back to our same old ship of fools conversation. But it has to do with the more the ship of fools sails and you're not on the radio station, then the more we should jump for joy because that it wouldn't that be the best sign of all time to fit into blank, whatever your religious beliefs are or spiritual beliefs. Isn't that the best sign of all time that you're not going to come back and do another life? Or from a Buddhist perspective, I'm not expert at it, that you're not compatible with this very low plane, this very heavy, stinky low plane of existence, and you'll go do something better. You're not compatible with it. Or will your higher self see? There's no reason to put an aspect of you spiritually back into something like that because you're not compatible with it. You're moving away from it. So per the T-shirt, it is the best news of all time. Um, but in the body, in the avatar, I got no friends. I got no love from this person. I got no love from my cousin over here. I got no love from my boss. I got no love from. You're not getting any love from anybody. But that's, again, I'd rather tough it out. I'd rather tough it out here for a very what is it what's the next trillion and benefit for the next trillion years of what's the point of even putting that into a yearly term, but outside this place probably there is no time, but how else can we express the infinite, right? I'd rather struggle here a bit and do what I need to do here for the benefit of something that's much, much greater, if you see what I mean. So I really want to talk a bit about the Tesla fairy tale. I'm going to stop this in case another transformer blows up. But the transformers on the electric line, not Optimus Prime and what was the other one's name? Megatron. All right, guys, a few minutes, my personal beliefs on Nikola Tesla, because I mentioned it. I don't really buy the Nikola Tesla story. To me, it's like a fairy tale. It's presented like a fairy tale. And if nothing else, we should be very skeptical when Elon Musk chooses the name for the electric car company. Yeah, it could be a mockery, whatever, but the Tesla is almost like it's inserted. He is inserted into the truth community as like some savior or hero. And to me, I just don't buy the story. It's like a graduated Animal Farm. There's tremendous truth in the story, of course. Free energy exists, of course. There's no reason the transformer should blow up out here, or there should be metered electricity at this point. Of no, they've had ways to do away with this for a long time. But the story itself, I don't buy at all from an inner knowing perspective, inner tuning fork, gut feeling. Um, well, Matt, what research have you done on it? Almost none. Where do you want me to go for my research? The Library of Congress? Google? Well, there's no point. I believe, if anything, I've developed inner knowing, inner tuning fork, gut feeling. It's just the way the system, this not milk system, presents certain things. I get a read on how things are being presented, and I've usually been right if I get that certain feeling about it, I believe. On most things. When I'm wrong, I'll mention that. But in this case, it's a fairy tale. I don't buy it. Okay, before talking about why I don't buy the whole story or the Tesla presentation through the system, and I know it does seem like well, Matt, what do you mean? They're trying to cover up what Tesla did, and he's not in anybody's history book in seventh grade. I hear you. Okay, I know that's all part of the presentation to me. But the positives first. I think there is we already know all this. I'll be very quick. There's tremendous truth in the story. Free energy exists. We don't need to be paying for anything. I think this system in some way, and again, one last time, Nicola, I apologize if it's all true. I think they chose this Tesla story for whatever reason, for pushing forth its graduated Animal Farm for this particular issue into our community or into anybody that would research it. There's truth in the story. Now, did it all come from Tesla? He got these messages from an alien presence, or some would say there's some sort of communication he had with the beyond, and it came to Tesla. That's all part of the Tesla story. Then it's proven it's all true because then the system found out what he knew and then just ruined him, and he died penniless. And I'm sorry, it's too perfect. It's too perfect. So that's my belief. We'll never be able to prove it one way or another. But when there is a way you can kind of prove it when you see how the system makes its presentation. or you know how to read the matrix code. So Glenn Beck, I watched the Glenn Beck Fox show in 2005 or 6 or 2007. I think there was a lot of Glenn Beck, of course, a tremendous puppet of the system. Rush Limbaugh works directly for the system, an absolute graduated animal farm. But there's tremendous truth that comes through graduated animal farms. But it doesn't, it wants you, it won't give away the ultimate truth. It'll give away way more truth than you get on CNN. That's the concept of a graduated animal farm, but it won't ever try to move you along. It won't ever try to take you to the highest rung. It wants to keep you. So Glenn Beck, an absolute puppet of the system, this huge presentation, and we've all seen it a million times. Oh, Edison stole everything from Tesla. Tesla did everything. You can't make money off Tesla's invention. Edison initially wanted to push DC, direct current, not AC. That was Tesla's, and he stole that. And okay, and then they stole everything from him. He died penniless, and Trump's uncle came in and stole all that. That is such a ridiculous part of the story. Trump's uncle came in and stole all the materials. So this one world system, or let's just say in this case the U.S. government, they're respecting they're respecting privacy rights, right? The story is they came in after he died, they took all his books and his notes. Oh, and they couldn't have done that. They couldn't have anyway done that if he has a free energy delivery devices that would end entire corporate reign on metered electricity. They wouldn't have any way to get to it or to get his materials before he died. They said, well, we can't. They discussed it at a table, I guess. Well, we can't go in and steal any of his stuff, or he's still alive. We have to wait. We have to be friendly and nice. Oh, sure. That by itself gives the whole Tesla story away. They waited. No, they want if he had free energy, they would have put, I don't know, they would have put an ounce of coke in his damn pocket. They would have broke his damn door down that night. Are you kidding me? Come on, man. Come on, sir. It's a story. It's a script. So the Tesla story looks kind of believable today from a truther perspective. Would say, well, Tesla's not in your history books, Matt. It's not. Nobody talked about Tesla in your fifth grade class or your 12th grade class. Okay, it's all Edison, right? Edison did everything. All right, I hear you. But that's what's put out for the masses. When somebody starts looking into a little bit or becomes, that first grade truther or starts to reject the Don Lemons on CNN, then those graduated animal farms are set up. You can all this stuff about you'll find as an investigating first grade truther about the war presented by Glenn Beck and everybody else, the war between Tesla and Edison, and all like okay, I said it. It was all stolen, and they'll get you on that farm, and then you'll say, oh, that's the real truth. When no, even that's a script, that's a story. So the positives is ultimately um, there's truth in it. They do have free energy, and someone would say, well, why would they even it seems like on one hand they're trying to suppress the Tesla story to the masses, but when anybody gets a little bit of the inkling to do a little truth investigation, there's all this stuff from the same system about who Tesla was. They ruined his life and that whole all these weird backstories. Why didn't they just try to keep that quiet and cover that up? I don't know, because they want any investigation into free energy. Somehow they want it attached to Tesla, or they want to get you on that boat or that story or that scripted train to go along with the way they want it to go. I don't know. Maybe we've talked about contractually the way this whole reality works, the truth always has to come out in some form or another, even in a nursery rhyme. Humpty Dumpty is broke ass. Well, he wasn't broke before he fell. Sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. I mean, there's truth in everything. So, this is the way this whole reality operates. So the positives are it's the story itself. You just back up from all the noise. We know they have free energy. Now, the negatives, again, you have just to summarize, and I'll leave this behind. You have it just feels like a story and a script. You have Trump's uncle being involved, Elon Musk naming the company. When you do a little bit of truth or research, there's all this stuff. The whole backstory on Tesla exists, so people think they found the real truth. And then you have just simple breakdowns of common sense that the nice people in government, the good people, they waited for him to pass before stealing his stuff. Yeah, sure. All right, enough Tesla. Getting back to the main point. Well, that doesn't help you, does it? Getting back to the main point. jump for joy if you're not compatible in any way with this reality or society. And why Tesla, we started talking about Tesla, was Tesla's main or major quote. Everything here is frequency, vibration, resonance, something like that. I probably guess I should have looked it up. It's very simple, Matt. You could have looked it up before. You've heard it before. You know what I mean. It's right there. And maybe that's the ultimate truth that comes through the Tesla script or story. Something, we'll try here to take it to the highest level. The truth has to flow through reality. So in the smoking rooms, they say, well, how do we, anybody that investigates Tesla, how do we get them on that animal farm? Oh, we'll just bog them down with DC versus AC current and free energy, and then they'll miss the big point that the proper interpretation of everything here in this reality is frequency, vibration, and resonance. So, which has to do, of course, with not being compatible with anything here. Excuse me, not not being compatible. Did you just wipe your? I needed to itch, the nose hairs, but I thought this would be better, and it wasn't. Sorry. Not being compatible, but why? That doesn't just mean you're no longer invited to play blackjack and poker with the boys. They don't accept you anymore. You're a conspiracy truther. Even take it all the way to the highest level. Well, even time itself. If we're from a frequency, vibration, resonance perspective, materially, who we are in this body or avatar, spiritually, everything, we're moving away. We're not compatible with any bit of it. It doesn't just mean you're not going to be invited to poker night. Time itself is all screwed up for us, is it not? Mostly people say it's moving faster. I can, I almost, this sounds crazy. I don't even know how to talk about this, but I can almost sense how from outside the snow globe, outside this whatever this construct is, that there is no time. That goes back to the last conversation before you were born, where oh boy, I was going to say the master, the trainer, and somebody got all upset because I presented master to the young soul. I don't know how to present it. I had to present it like kung fu, Caine and kung fu, master and grasshopper. That's the only way I could do it. So the master said, sorry to use the word. I'll come up with something better next time. He said, well, from my perspective, you will enter the earth realm. You will come right back in front of me. There will be time, one lifetime or thousands of lifetimes, whatever it is, will have passed for you. Nothing will have passed for me. And I can almost sense that now. There is no, one of the things that fascinated me about this whole reality, even before I started getting involved in all this stuff, is you can never hold on to the now moment. There is no moment. A very simple time exercise proves time doesn't exist. There is no holding on to the now moment. There's no isolating it. And just because you can, if you pause your DVR as Michael Jordan's about to hit a last, Michael Jordan, what century are you in, boy? LeBron James, and that's all I know. He's 100 years old, still playing, I think. So the LeBron James is about to hit a last second shot. I know the balls are magnetic. I know. Let's not get into that. You pause your DVR, Matt. That proves you can pause a moment of time. No, it doesn't. Absolutely does not. You can never isolate a moment. It gives away the whole time construct as not being real. And one way that's easily demonstrated is as technology increases, you can keep breaking a second down into smaller and smaller pieces. So back in the Olympiad, it was the Olympics of the 60s, a stopwatch may be able to, in the 60s, you could get a tenth of a second. He ran 10.5 in the 100-meter dash, or at that time in the 60s, it was probably closer to 11 seconds. I don't know. I think they run just under 10 now, I think. But then it went to a hundredths of a second, maybe in the 90s or the 80s. Now, of course, you watch the Olympics, they can measure in thousandths of a second. That you can, as the technology increases, you can continue to slice and dice time. Of course, does anybody think then that 30, 40 years from now, the Olympics are going to measure to 10 thousandths of a second? Of course, they'll have that technology. Because it continuously be sliced and diced on that side of the decimal point, it proves time doesn't exist. It's just the technology itself. There will never be a moment where we say, well, wait, we've identified an exact moment here. We can't break it apart per technology in a stopwatch for the Olympics in 2500, if you see what I'm saying. So that by itself proves time doesn't exist. But there's a whole lot of other things that I've written about in the past and talked about why time doesn't exist. But from our perspective, as you leave the frequency, resonance, and vibration of this place, again, you're off the radio station across the board, even metaphysically with time. It just doesn't make sense to me how quickly everything goes, and it's just fascinating that okay, this event is supposed to be tomorrow or in the future, and it just goes by like I don't even know how to talk about it. It's just in a very simple sense. I'll try to work on this for another presentation, but in a simple sense, we're not moving through time because we're off the frequency, vibration, and resonance the same way as your brother is or the normie. And they'll say the same types of things. They'll say, Matt, time speeds up as I'm getting older. I'm not just talking about that. I'm not, I'm just, I believe that as we do certain things for ourselves, the most important thing we're doing for ourselves is actually moving off the frequency. So we no longer take the download. We're no longer getting the download that those on the ship of fools are getting. And you have to understand it. You have to understand, like I say it definitively. I don't know, but my theory is that as you move off the radio station, the frequency, or away from Tesla's everything here is frequency, vibration, and resonance, then everything is going to be different for you. Perception, time. You're not going to be invited to poker night, even, but it's not just the pedestrian type things. It's going to be weird for you versus your uncle or your cousin or even your spouse. It's going to be weird for you across the board. But again, it's very tough when that happens. Or, there's been, because of people, the cement has hardened. Okay, the cement has hardened. Most people, it is hardened. They are firmly planted on the ship of fools. Like, hi, Jack. Hi, Rose. Did you steal that coat, Jack? Hey, call the master at arms. They're on the ship. Everything's normal. Everything's cool. We're off. And the cement has hardened. It's good news for you. I mentioned this a few videos back, in my opinion, because it's like tremendous armor. It's just hardened. Anybody listening to this, is there any trick? Is there any technology where you're going to lose the sense of who you are, who you've become, and you're just going to go right back on the ship? People might choose to be Cypher. That's probably what that whole scene in the Matrix was for, to a degree. You may choose to be Cypher in the Matrix and want back in. And if you choose, it'll open doors, it'll welcome you home like the prodigal son. It'll probably, here's a promotion and here's a new girlfriend. If you go back in, oh man, here, come on in. We have sandwiches but look at the buffet. Oh, it'll welcome you back in my opinion, with open arms. Not like some Matt trying to get a job or something, or trying to like creep in because he's got to pay bills or something, or you trying to go do this or that. It still holding on to who you are. Then you're like, then it's they live. That this one can see, or it's not Jack Nicholson, Donald Sutherland at the end of Invasion of the Body Snatchers. It that you can't fake it. I'm saying if you truly want back, like Cypher in the Matrix, truly wanted to be back in, he wasn't just like, this is the worst. Cypher wasn't like, this is the lesser of two evils. Oh, he wanted back in. I want to be rich. Oh, this steak is so good. I want to be famous. If you really want back in, I believe this Matrix will welcome you back in with open arms. You'll become popular. I just believe that. You can't fake it though, because the Matrix deep down will know you're true. It'll be able to see through you, just like Rowdy Piper could see the real signs with the sunglasses in They Live. So, but what I was saying is the cement is hardened. Those, like my friend Tony. I don't mean to be. I know. Hopefully, he would never see this, and I still respect him. But anybody on the ship of fools, They never will be able to see through a false presentation. They'll never, and it's not that they're stupid. They are on that frequency. It is normal to them. That doesn't mean, well, it could mean potentially in their reality bubbles. It's not the deception that we see. I don't want to stray too much. It could be separate reality bubbles, but I'm not going to go there for this presentation. I'm going to assume it is the same deception, but they're just not able to see through it. But who knows? Who knows, though, if we could even take that farther. But the cement, the good news is the cement, I'm not going to use the t-shirt this time. The cement is hardened on us. So you know deep down, we just know. Is there any deception they're ever going to be able to pull forth that will work on you? Of course not. Anybody just listening to this said, of course not. Is there any technology even? The technology, the way they have to deliver it, the 6G or the no, it's not going to work on you. It's not going to work on me. Now, if they come in and the jackboots throw you down on the counter and strap you up and all this, it's things against your will. Could we combat that? Maybe not. But then they've already violated most of the rules or every bit of the rules. But if something again going completely against your will, they lose, you win. There is some sort of contractual basis here. There's some sort of parameters these creeps have to stay between, and I don't even the minions executing it. I don't think know the parameters, but there's still some sort of rules here. However, where you think this whole reality system came from? The Big Bang? I mean, give me a break. It was laid down by somebody. My opinion, it was we're fully agreed to be here and participate. I don't believe that in any way this is Matt, this is a recycling trick and we're stuck here and oh sure, we were just fooled to come in here. Yeah, come on, man. Come on, sir. It's a bunch of bullshit. If it can get you to believe that, then you'll take that belief set into death and manifest it on your own self recycled ass. I don't buy it. No. We chose to come here. What you expect at death is what you'll get. The only thing you get to keep is what you give away. Um, Let me pause this, guys, in case another transformer blows up. All right, I got to do this is the best way to do the summary. The best way to do the summary is, Matt, you're not going to do that again where somebody stumbles upon the video. It's the best way to do the summary. It really is. I'm going to summarize. I might as well do it this way. So I'll keep it 3 minutes or less. Somebody stumbles upon this video and they say, honey, look at this guy. So this is one of these conspiracy guys, honey. He thinks there's no possible way a guy in a cave brought the whole world down for 10 years. He's one of these guys, conspiracy. Oh, we've heard about them. And he thinks that you can tell the way he's talking. He's lost all his friends, his family, his job, he's been kicked out of all his social circles. He thinks this is what these crazies, they have this rationalization that they're on the correct path. They've been ruined across the board in society. A girlfriend has left them, like the opening scene in Stripes. They've got nothing. And a psychologist would have a field day with these wackos. Their rationalization is they're on the right frequency or the spiritual frequency. They've left some sort of frequency or Schumann resonance of this place, and they're succeeding. Do you believe these freaks? They believe it, honey, that they're succeeding by basically what they call jumping off a ship. Guys, they would, of course, they would try to sick psychologists on us. They would have a field day. It looks like the biggest cop out psychological games of all time we're playing on ourselves. We're really winners as we're losers. There's nobody listening to my voice and the words coming out of my mouth believes that. You can see it, you can feel it. It is in no way a psychological defense mechanism because we've been kicked out of the poker game or we've reenacted the first 10 minutes of Stripes. No, absolutely not. That's what's so funny about it. Even our confidence or what we uh, attached to the positive and truly believe in the positives, even that would be ridiculed and in no way understood by anybody on the ship of fools. And that's even more good news in our favor.